And then we have something like onum, oof, this is tough. These are going to be hard to segment. It's like a great mind of science, and they write textbooks about you and folk ballads, children's television shows. Hello once again, YouTube. Welcome back. We are working again on Lenethailef. If that name doesn't mean anything to you, I would check out the rest of this playlist because it's a whole big story. We're on episode something of it. It's above 10, I know. I can say that with confidence. So today we are going to be working on the sort of the feel of the language. We're trying to aim for a certain aesthetic, and let's call it the Lenethailef effect. So whatever feeling we get when we say that word Lenethailef, we want that to permeate the whole language. And right now it doesn't. Right now it's only isolated islands that have this Lenethailef quality. And so we have to isolate this quality and make it take over the entire language. That's our task. So let's get on it. Okay. So, if we look at these noun paradigms, we have 5 nouns here, reasonably irregular paradigms. I think we should identify things that fit the vibe of Lenethailef. We'll use the name of the language as our guiding principle, and we will let's flag the ones that don't and try and figure out why. And another way that we can do this, actually, maybe this is an easier way, is let's go to a little text, because I've written a little text in this language. So we have here a viduk fai naiva mon mazel uch mas. We can get rid of the protoforms here. Aviduk fai naiva mon mazel uch mas. And let's make sure that we have the correct the up-to-date stuff for this. Huask mauch hazen uch skoft. Oops. What am I doing? Unfortunately, Lexergy's interface is slightly difficult to fit on stream, so thank you for bearing with me. And then finally we have solum quoth suxwan. So I'll say the whole sentence. So this is the first line of our raven fable that we translated originally for Eustamia. And here it is in Lenethailef. So we have Avidach fei naive mon mazel uch mas. Huask mauch hazen uch skoft. Sonum quoth suxwan. I think that we're onto something there. We're onto something. Things I like. I like Avidach. So I like these voiced fricatives. Thai, I don't love, but I could learn to love. I could learn to love it. Thai, Naiva, I like. Mon is fine. Mazel is good. Uch, maybe. Yeah, uch is fine. Mas is fine. Huask, mauch, hazen, uch, skoft. So I think really what I like is voiced fricatives. I think that's what's giving me that sort of that certain, I don't know what this je ne sais quoi of Lenethailef. It's, hey, does it have voiced fricatives in it? Then hey, there you go. That's great. Sonum quoth suxwan. A viduk feu naiva mon mazeluch mas. Huask mauch hazenuch skoft. Sonum quoth suxwan. Okay, when I say it like, with feeling, I like it more. I don't know if I would actually change any of this. Mauch, skoft, sonum quoth suxwan. Yeah, I like that. Okay. But there are a few things that come up. So now maybe we can use this this reading as a sort of planting of the vibe seed in the earth of our memory. You're gonna have to stop me with this metaphor because it's grim. Okay, so let's see if we can identify any forms that are kind of clashing with the feeling. One right away that I think I would want to change. Semeneuf. I don't love this euf at the end. I almost feel a sense of wanting to get rid of this W, the semeneuf, and give us to semenef. I like that a bit better. And because this is underlyingly a V that's getting word final devoiced, it doesn't seem utterly unnatural that we would lose a W before a V. So what if we did that? And instead of semeneuf and a viuf, we had semenef and a vif. I think that works a bit better. So where are we going to write this down? And just write down here, W to nothing before F. Okay, that works. Seimen, that works. Seminus, semeneuk. Again, we have this euk. Euk. I don't love it. We could do, Raven points out we could do the French thing and do eu to e. Semeneuk. Semeneuf. Yeah. I don't know. We have our front vowels, and so we could easily add some more. Let's see what happens. So if we got semeneuf, but then what are we going to do with this ew? Are we going to do evif? Evif, semeneuf, seminat. Part of me is tempted to adopt this, and part of me is tempted just to delete the W altogether. Euf to fuv. Interesting. Oh, tell me more about this. I think I just need to see it come back to the side, my little chat view, because it goes by so quickly when it's on screen. Yeah. Well, what we can do, let's leave it here, and let's put up some options. So we can remove W before consonants. Maybe we remove W after front vowels, or before consonants. So this would leave our auch, or this kind of business. We could do some vowel coalescence So essentially taking the frontness of the first part of the diphthong, the roundness of the second part of the diphthong, and just pushing them together and giving us a front rounded vowel. And then similarly with ew. What else? We could... okay, Zachary asks, what's the semantic weight of ew? Here it is... Let's go back to where it was. So it is the substantive inflection of the verb. The substantive is kind of like it's the nominalizer. Sorry, this is the these are the what's it called? The modern forms, the Lenethailef forms. So this wuk is the substantive ending. I think we've got a big fan. We've got a fan base for coalescence in the chat. And then, okay, so if we're going to be doing this, then we need to figure out what we're going to be doing with all of the vowels. So ow, going to o, going to o, presumably as well. Oo going to oo, I'd imagine. Okay, that's a good... Raven points out something interesting here. If we deleted W before labialized consonants and then monophthongized otherwise, that could work really nicely. Yeah. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. So then we would have something like a vif, semanef, but then semanök and a vik. Yeah, I like that. And so it would be similar here. Lovely. Okay. I'm happy with that. Well done, everyone. Well done. Teamwork. Yes. Okay. Let's take a look at the nouns now. Are there any cases where we want to make changes? So I like this. I like mas and huask, wan, oi, and fire. I think the A forms for all of these are totally solid and in keeping with our work. Then we have masveich, huaskeich, huaskeich, inuich, euch, and fich. And I think this is, if I could train myself to reliably round and unround my lips while doing these diphthongs, then I think we should be in a good position. I do feel as if ui might turn into, we might keep the rounding in this diphthong here. We might also want it with schwa. Okay, let's take a look at the history of this form and see why it is the way it is. Why are you the way you are? So this is, oh, we don't have it anymore. Excuse me. So this is wanauque. What happened? There we go. All right, so let's apply, and I'll post it over to the screen so you can see what I'm doing. Apologize for the lack of visuals over on the right side there. Okay. Yes, what's happening here? So this is the crucial bit. I is turning to E. And then we are losing this E to a schwa, so E to I. I just don't see that surviving. So Raven points at a really good suggestion here. We could just have the rounding the rounding of the glide come from the vowel. And so if we have schwa, then we're going to unround that, which is actually really cool, because then we would get, oh sorry, where is it? Then we would get yeah for this one form, which is super weird, and I kind of love it. Unique. Yeah, I kind of love it. So then we would have also just put, this is my to-do list down here. I'm just going to write this in words because I don't know exactly the best way to make Lexergy accept it, but glide takes on rounding of so on glide takes on rounding of following vowel. Cool. And maybe both, maybe on and off glides. I think maybe that's what Raven was. Yeah, okay, yeah. You great minds, Raven. So off glide takes on rounding of preceding vowel. So then we would have, instead of yenui, we would have yenui. And I could see us simplifying that further as well. That works well. That works nicely. Okay, good. Moving on. What else do we need to do? So this one would stay euch, jenuich, choskeuch, misfeuch. So these would all harmonize, or the rounding would spread from to I to eu, choskeuch, misfof, choskof, wanuf, oaf, and then we would lose this W, off. And we would change, because this is going to be a lot better when I do it in Lexergy, because there aren't going to be mistakes, but for now we can just have something like chozeref, and that works. And then we would also have our rounding spreading, so fayef, fayum. And what else? We can just take these sveig. Lovely. Yeah, I think that's gone a long way. Well done, everyone. Okay. Are there other things to adjust? So how does this affect our endings? So let's do some segmentation here. If you're a speaker or a learner of this language, if you're an acquirer of this language, how would you segment this morpheme or this word? So, okay, we have mas. Cool. Then we have something that looks like musf, and then stuff that comes after it. We can remove the syllable things. I know you've told me there's a way of doing this in Lexergy. I will do it. I'll do it next time. Oh, cool. Yeah, Raven. Okay, thank you. So this is cool because we already have this precedent of oo going to oo. So it may make sense for us to have ü going to ü. And then we would have this. Yenich. I think that's the only one, right? Okay, so we have this segmentation. So we have stem A is mas, stem B is musf, and then the endings would be euch, anam, of, Ivan. Those sound kind of cool. And then the third stem, stem C, would be, we could segment it as mazeva or mazev, depending perhaps on what other declensions are like. So let's say for the sake of argument that for now, let's just segment it as mazev. And that's good. Okay, then we'll see what's the sort of reasonable morpheme segmentation that someone acquiring this language would hypothesize. So I think this is it. Possibly goes after the schwa here. I'm not sure yet, so we can go on. Oh yeah, Violet. It is kind of like we are getting into slight root and pattern morphology here. And if so, let it be so. Fun. Intervocalic voicing seems allophonic. Yes, intervocalic voicing I believe is allophonic. We don't have a full analysis of this language yet, but from the way that we wrote the sound changes, I think it is allophonic. We haven't yeah, I think it is allophonic, which we will get to very soon when we do our romanization. Okay, so huask, good, segmented that way. And then husk, euch, anam, of, Ivan. So right here we have two nouns that are in the same class. Not class, but in the same declension class. So this means that we have our segmentation like this. So stem A is huask, stem B is husk, stem C is huazeur. Okay. There is a learning curve. There is a learning curve to this, yes. If you are coming to this and this is your first exposure to conlanging, I would say you may enjoy watching the series on YouTube to see how it all develops, so you're not just sort of thrown into the middle of it. Also, in the works, or at least planned, will be some more introductory level conlanging stuff, so some more tutorially content. Yeah, apologies for that. If there are questions, if anything is unclear, please feel free to ask, and either I or someone else in the chat will be able to hopefully clarify things. Okay, so this is what we have for the morpheme segmentation for Xan and Crow. So these seem to be the same kind of thing. By that we mean they have the same endings. Euch, anem, of, Ivan, Then we get to I, and this looks irregular. So we have one as stem A, and then we have just a very weird accusative form, jenich. So not clear what's going on there. This is a very, probably a pretty common word. Jenich. I don't know if we may want to apply some analogy and regularize it. Okay, but we have jenich. Then we have wenenum, wenuf, weneven. And so here it looks like, I'm going to stop doing that because that's annoying. We have a different set of endings. And then we have just this really weird form here. So we can just put this as, don't love that color, on there. I'm trying to find something that has enough contrast. Okay, fine. That works. And maybe people would interpret it as bimorphemic like this because we have euch and then we have ich, which is somewhat similar. And then we have these C stems, which actually go on the same phonological shape as the A stems, where we have this is the only possible segmentation. So then in that case, maybe the segmentation is actually before the consonant, because then that would preserve the single ending F for, what is this? The comitative for all three of these. Cool. And then it just has different endings for these last two cases, which are locative and instrumental. I think we can probably put this over so we can see all of it at once. Oh, thank you. Good catch, Raven. Raven points out that it shouldn't be I, it should be I. Well caught. All right. Then let's see what happens to our thing. So stem A is fine, normal. Euch. So I think the sensible segmentation is here after the diphthong. And then we have something like onum, of, and oof, this is tough. These are going to be hard to segment. But maybe they are something like this. And then there's a rule that just coalesces identical vowels, or I don't know. And then here, it's not clear what's going on because we have Ivan, Aven, and then just even. The form alone is even, and so there's nothing. The whole thing looks like the ending. So it's not totally clear what to do with that. So let's say that these are at least semi-regular, and these are mysteries. And they get this really, really attractive banana left out too long color. And then finally we have more support for our FMM segmentation. So of, yeah, thing is a bit irregular. All right, let's keep going. So our three stems for thing would be Ö, O. Our three stems for I would be wan, wan. Our three stems for crow would be huask, husk, hozere. And our three stems for sun would be mas, musf, mazeva. All right. Good stuff. Okay, so then we have fire. Great. Fich, finem, fif, fiven. So how does this work? Well, we have another case of the ending here being just the velar fricative. Fich. Here we have another num ending. Here we have another f ending. And here we have another vun ending. So these are looking kind of like the same thing. And here we have our C stem working like that. And I think we have a rule that backs a before y. So instead of saying I, we're saying I. So then we end up having the same stem for A and C. So fire, fich, finem, fif, fiven, fire, fiam. And so this is regular. This is just a slightly less regular version, but these are clearly in the same camp. So we have no vowel before the endings here. Just ch, num, f, vun, rather than euch, anem, of, iven, or ich, enem, uf, even. So it's like we're going to have a few declension classes in this language. And essentially, yeah, we've come up with something like ablaut. Cool. Yeah. Oh, I'm happy with this. So then let's update our. So we can call this class 1, class 2. I don't know, we might change these names. Class 3. And this is a bit irregular. Class 3, regular. This is an irregular class 2. I suspect that for a lot of the cases where, a lot of the instances where there's an irregularity in just one form of the paradigm, that's going to be analogized out. Are any of these productive? Probably only one or two. I'm guessing whatever one ends up being the most regular or common will end up being productive, and then we'll gradually migrate words from other more archaic classes over to the productive one. Looking at how nice and regular this is, although there is one, okay, I say this, but this actually has 3 stems. Mas, musf, mazeva. Class 3 actually has only 2 stems. Faya, fi. So maybe class 3 is going to be our most, our productive one, where you only have to remember 2 stems because A and C have coincided. Yeah, possible. So this is now obsolete. Shall we do a few more nouns to see what other shapes end up looking like and what classes they end up getting put into? I thought it was going to drag the other one over. I think that would be a fun thing to do. So let's find another noun in the proto-lexicon. What are some options? Nafia. Manato. Quala. Language. The source of the name for this whole family. Kal. Oh, we can actually find out what the word for the cognate of eustamia is in this language. That sounds fun. So these were two separate words in the proto-language, but we're going to fuse them here. What else? Oh, fetu, day. Okay, that's good. I'm going to full screen so I can do my copy and paste magic, and we can just chat while we're doing that. Yeah, I'm really having fun. Like this is amazing. I'm thrilled. It's like, yeah, discovering things about something that you have, like when you set things up and then they have consequences that you didn't predict and you discover them, that's so cool. That's like, that just scratches a very particular itch that doing science also should hopefully scratch, where you come up with a sort of a simplified explanation of how things work, and then lo and behold, when it all everything interacts together, you end up predicting things that actually do in fact occur, and you're heralded as a great mind of science, and they write textbooks about you and folk ballads, children's television shows. So without further ado, back to, oops, nope, wrong button. There we go. Okay, so we have to go back to our Lenethailef spreadsheet here, and we are going to put some, oops. Okay. So first of all, we have the word for feather. Naiva. Cognate with the eustamia navia. So, oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. Naiva is feather. And so we have naiva, 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 navich, navanam, navof, navivan, navof, navov, navom, navom. So what's going on here? As usual, pretty simple here. In the A classes, we could probably just collapse this at this point because they're never going to be any different. Then we have a case where we have ich, anam, of, even, which is something that we don't have anywhere else. But it's very similar to one, just with a slight difference, owing to the difference in, I think, owing to perhaps the difference in final vowel. Well, I'll have to think about that. And then for the class B, or the B stems, we have navof, navom, navom. So we have, I don't know, I think I want to call this class 1B. So class 1A has euch, anam, of, even. Class 1B has ich, anam, of, even. And I think that should do. All right, next. So that's the word for feather. Then we have the word for lake, manato. What does this look like? So month. Nope, I always choose the wrong one. Month, mandhoich, mandhonum, mandhof, mandhoiven. Mandhoiven, excuse me. So this is another thing that seems to work mostly like class 1, but again, slightly different vocalism in the B stem endings. So we can call this a form of, we can call this class 1C. Lake. And if we were like proper Germanic philologists, we would say, oh, O-stem nouns and Ya-stem nouns and E-stem nouns, which is kind of what's going on here. I'm getting some tips in from Raven. You can click, hold, and drag your range. Use replace function and replace period with nothing to remove all. Yeah, so I could do a big find and replace. That's a good point. And period, replace with nothing. Boom, done. And then maybe we'll get rid of the stress marker because it's totally predictable. Everything that's not stressed is schwa. So we can just get rid of that as well. Although maybe it is helpful. I don't know. We'll just leave it. Because we're looking at the morphology here. So that's what we really want to pay attention to. And then, boom. Okay. Month, month, montho. So this is another one. Okay, so another variant of class 1. Class 1 seems to have a lot of variants, probably has one for each vowel that a noun could end with. Let's look at quala, which means language. And before I do that, let me just... All right. So then we have qual, qualuch. Okay, so we need to apply some of our changes here. Mendof. Qualenum. So ich, enem, uf, even. Look familiar? So this is class 2, but it's not irregular, so it doesn't give us this different... So this is the schwa stem declension. So hello, schwa stem. Good. And then do we have one more? I think we have one more. This is a channel all about learning, isn't it? And I am no exception. I am no exception. So then we have eustamia, or the cognate of the eustamia word eustamia, which means fragrant coast. What are the Lenethailef people going to call it? Astyma. Astyma, astyma, astamich, astamanum, astamof, astamiven, astamof, astamom, astamom. Okay, what declension is this going to be? This looks a lot like the ya stems of class 1b. And of course, it's eustamiya, yositahamiya in the proto-language. So it is a ya stem. So this is class 1b. Astyma, astamich, astamanum, astamof, astamiven. Perfect. This is really cool. This is really cool. I like these Germanic sounding declension classes. And this is a yo stem. And this is a, what is this? Huasachakwa. So this is an a stem, and this is an a stem. And this is a schwa stem. Cool. Okay, I think we have one more. And then we'll call this segment, we'll call it quits with this segment and then do a brief, oh my goodness, I'm always running over time. But I think it's fine. We can do a brief romanization bit. And what is the situation here? Fetu. So fetu is day, so this is going to be our U stems. U stem. And let's see what it's going to, see what it's going to do. Oh, I love these sound changes so much. So this is the word for day. Heth, hedich, hedunum, heduf, hedhiven, heduf, 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 hedum, hedum. So right away we have, it's interesting, we have very, very little going on in these C stem forms, with the exception of, the schwa stems, which don't take anything in these last two cases, which, by the way, are locative and instrumental. Hopefully that'll be slightly helpful. Okay, so what's going on here? We have ich, unum, uf, even. We don't have this exact pattern anywhere. So we're going to call this class 4, the U stems. And I think we have basically everything. We have a. Oh, we don't have an a. We don't know what's going to happen with a nouns. What are we going to do there? We have to finish it, don't we? We have to. Do we have any nouns that end in a? Otherwise, we'll have to make one up. Palawe. We're going to do it. All right, so palawe, meaning water. And again, to minimize any pain, I'll just bring myself back up here so that you don't have to see me doing all sorts of copying and pasting. And yeah, I'm really proud of our work today. This is, I love this language. This is one of these languages that kind of surprised me at how much I like it. I love all my Conlangs, of course, but you know, there are always some that are a bit special. And I think what makes it more special is all of the help that I'm getting from you, because I think this is really, it's really quite something that we're creating together. And you, I have to say, make me think of things I wouldn't normally think of. So if you ever feel as if you're in a rut conlanging, go conlang with other people. It'll break you out of that rut right away. And hopefully my ruts are to you new, and we can, you know, inspire each other that way. All right. So let's bring ourselves back to the land of having access to spreadsheets. Oh no, I've done it wrong. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to mess with hotkeys, but did not work. So let's get these in here. Okay, so here we have the word for, what was it? Water. Fala, 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 falich, faljenum. Okay, we need to change this to faljenum, faljef, faljiven, because we are not mixing roundness in diphthongs. Okay, so what is going on here? We have ich, we have jenem, which we might want to interpret this as part of the root, with a slightly irregular accusative, which we've seen before. We've seen slightly irregular accusatives. So let's, I forget what color did I use for these irregular ones. That was the yellow. And then Fallief, Falliem, Falliem. Enum, if even. Do we have anything like that? No, we do not. So this will be class 5. Estems. And that should do it. That should be the entirety of the noun, the declension classes of this language. Whew. Cool. Cool. And this will probably regularize. We will lose some of the more outrageously irregular kinds of nouns, but I think that's a pretty cool outcome. I'll scoot back to the full screen and say goodbye to YouTube. And thank you again, YouTube, for joining. We we do this all the time, so keep coming back. If you'd liked what we did here and you want to see more of it, like the video, because that's a great signal to me to keep doing it and keep this series ongoing. And subscribe for more. What more can I say, right? Okay.